This is the most helpful book ever published. Tutorials, Quick Start Training Manual, Analyses Building Course. Welcome to the educational training references for the most helpful book ever published. This material has been prepared to assist you for a better understanding of the valuable concepts and lessons offered in this rare work of literature called the most helpful book ever published. Use this easy training manual to increase your comprehension for a better experience to enjoy this rare work of literature. This is the Quick Start Training Manual. This Quick Start tutorial is very easy to use. This informative material is specially designed to quickly provide a fast and easy quality comprehension to guide you through this interesting and exciting lesson for your added enjoyment. Learn so much more using this tutorial guide. The Quick Start Training Manual is designed and written for the most helpful book ever published. About the manual. Use this Quick Start Manual as a supplement guide for additional information that teaches users of the most helpful book ever published how to easily use this book. Improve comprehension with screenshots of the actual book pages showing easy and simple steps to get you up and running immediately, making the material more fun and interesting to learn. Learn all about using the interesting concepts presented in the most helpful book ever published to help you understand how to interpret the material in easier ways, adding to your knowledge and enjoyment. Now learning is even more fun. Use this specially prepared manual for assistance. General Training Manual Contents. Training Manual Subject Title, Date, with a general introduction to content description. Quick Start Training Manual Logo Cover. Learning Aid Acknowledgement to the most helpful book ever published and copyright. The General Training Manual Contents page. The Quick Start lesson containing easy steps instructions with actual page screenshots. Now, here is the lesson. How to determine if you are a mix or a purine. If you are a purine, you have one birth date range. If you are a mix, you have two birth date ranges. You are a little of both birth date ranges you have been born between. This is because the birth range containing your birthday lacks enough exposure because too much influence was missed in your original birth date range due to the date you were born, too late or too early a birth to capture your original full birth date range, and now you have two birth date ranges you are a part of or a little of both. What does this mean? Being born between two birth date ranges makes you more versatile in personality, giving you more features and capabilities in life. For example, as you learn more about yourself in the 8 chapters of the most helpful book ever published, you will find that you are of both sides in each chapter. For example, in Chapter 6, Organic and Inorganic Ability, you would desire both people and material objects rather than a purine that is mostly one or the other. First, obtain your copy of the most helpful book ever published. Pages 14c to 14g easily explains all about the mix and purine concepts. First, obtain your copy of the most helpful book ever published. The cover is shown here. This book, known as the most helpful book ever published, took 10 years to prepare and a lifetime to master so it could be made very easy for others to comprehend. It is written with your comfort in mind so that you can start just about anywhere reading this material, as there is no specific order to achieve a quality comprehension. Also, you don't have to read the whole book ever, only the sections that pertain to you, as this will be explained with very easy comprehension to see that you won't be reading with much labor at all with mostly short readings. Second, determine what group you are in, being earth, air, water, or fire. Simply find your birth date range in one of the 4 groups listed in the chart showing the birth date ranges. Determine which birthday group you belong to. Carefully read the next few paragraphs to identify what birth date range group you are in. You will need this information throughout the rest of this material to reveal the trends observed about you. Third, double check to see if you are a mix. A mix is a person considered to have 2 birth date ranges and is determined by having a particular birth date as indicated on a mix chart, shown here. Determine if you are a mix by examining column A. If you are a mix, find your letter code in column D. Remember this letter code. Each chapter in the most helpful book ever published contains many learn and adopt analyses with posted letter codes at all learn and adopt analyses in all chapters and throughout every chapter, so you know what learn and adopt analyses sections to examine with your posted letter code. Simply look for your letter code prior to examining a learn and adopt analyses. If your letter code is not posted at a particular learn and adopt analyses, then it is not intended as a selection that pertains to you. For example, on page 15 of chapter 1 of the most helpful book ever published shown in the blow-up screenshot, at the bottom, you will notice a list of letter codes above each learn and adopt analysis posted. Look for your letter code posted above each learn and adopt analysis of each group in all 8 chapters. Fourth, after identifying your group, or if you are a mix, locate and start reading all of the learn and adopt analyses in each chapter. Place a check mark in the square box or line next to only one learn and adopt analysis in each chapter. Select only one that you feel is the best for you. Only choose one and move on to the next chapter. Finish by completing all 8 chapters. Or, if you are a mix, locate and start examining all of the learn and adopt analyses in the 2 groups you belong to in each chapter. Because you are a mix having 2 groups, a little of both, the actual birth date range containing your birthday that lacks enough exposure because too much influence was missed, too late or too early a birth, in your actual birth date range. Being a mix makes you part of both groups, a little of both, but place a check mark in the square box or line next to only one learn and adopt analysis, in only one, of the 2 groups, in every chapter. Select only one, learn and adopt analysis, that you feel is the best for you. Only choose one, learn and adopt analysis, of the 2 groups, you are of, and move on to the next chapter. Finish by completing all 8 chapters. You will end up with only 8 learn and adopt analyses in total, no more. Here is a screenshot of page 15 of the most helpful book ever published. It is titled Chapter 1, The Major Trends Observed for Each Group. Next, look down below to see the same page, with a close-up, of the first analysis 1, of the Earth group. The purpose of showing this screenshot is to illustrate, using letter codes. Above each analysis shown is a list of letter codes. If your letter code is listed, you can examine and use that particular analysis, pertaining to you. The purpose of the letter code, is so, you do not have to remember, 2 birth date ranges, and groups. Next, now that you have learned about finding letter codes, start with step 1, on page 14C, to continue determining your status, and do not move on to step 4, as this step, is for purines, and not mixes. Here is a screenshot of page 14C, of the most helpful book ever published. It is step 1 of determining your status, making reference to the mix status chart, and directs you towards determining if you are a mix or purine. Next, look down below to see a screenshot of page 14F. The purpose of showing this screenshot is to illustrate that step 4 is to be used if you have determined you are not a mix. A mix cannot use step 4, that is set up, for only single birth date ranges, but must use a letter code instead, representing the 2 birth date ranges, that a mix, is part of, that step 4, is not set up, to accommodate. Simply, skip step 4, if you are a mix. Here is a screenshot close-up of page 14F, of the most helpful book ever published. It is step 4 of determining your group status, making reference to the group birth date ranges, and directs you towards determining, as a purine, the group you belong to. The purpose of showing this screenshot is to illustrate that step 4, is to be used, if you have determined, you are a purine, represented by the 4 groups, and the birth date range you belong to. Use this birth date range group chart, on page 14F, to determine which of the 4 groups represent you. It says it wants you carefully reading the next few paragraphs to identify what birthday group you are. It indicates that you will need this information throughout the rest of this material to reveal the trends observed about you. You are to check off your group, in the chart posted below, after identifying, Your birth date range group, being, earth, air, water, or fire. Now, you know your group. So, why are there 4 groups? You see, people's birthdays are the best reference point to start to observe them, to understand them. Why is this so? This is because, if you were to observe 12 people, 1 person from each month of the year, you would start to see a trend in personality patterns. The personality trends observed would be similar enough to divide the 12 people into 4 groups. Each group would contain 3 people with similar personality patterns. You can call the 4 groups by any name you want. For example, call the groups A, B, C, and D. Since astrology deserves credit for observing people's birthdays, it would be only fair, and for this material, to use the names that the field of astrology uses. Instead of A, B, C, and D, the 4 groups will be labeled Earth, Air, Water, and Fire, named after the 4 elements of life. One observation is for sure, no matter whom you are, your birthday will fall under Earth, Air, Water, or Fire. These 4 groups will be the starting point to observe everyone. Next, now that you have learned about finding your birthday group and you have determined you are not a mix, turn to page 14C, shown here. Start with step 1 on page 14C, of the most helpful book ever published to continue. It says, start here. Take a quick snapshot, X-ray, of your personality. No more struggling in your life trying to guess what you are good at, who your best companion is, or what career you are cut out for. Learn the shocking truth about your personality, instantly detecting what nature has intended for you by obtaining your iTrendology score. It is fast and easy, only takes 20 minutes. You will be so glad you did. What is your score? Get your iTrendology score. Step 1. Score system. Definitions. iTrendology score. A score up to 100% measuring the progress through the 8 chapters towards achieving success. Score system concept. The score is not the greatest achievement of all, it is living the most successful life possible. The score system monitors your progress through the 8 chapters rather than focusing on trying to score high. Use the score system as accurately as possible for the highest quality of best results, as this is more important. If you cannot score in a chapter, write down why. Your score is not permanent and can change at any second in your life. You can always go back at any moment and change your score, for any reason, as it is a snapshot in time up to the most current second it is being recorded. Scoring a 0 in any chapter tells you what is blocking your success towards achieving your goals, and that is better than just a high score. The score system. No more than 1 point can be awarded for each of the 8 chapters, even if 2 groups used by a mix are applied in each of those chapters. Multiple learn and adopt analysis applied in a chapter will only result in 1 point. A perfect score is 8 points. Each chapter point scored is worth 12.5%. A score of 0 for any chapter means a temperate or permanent variable is present obstructing what should otherwise be a direct path to achieve success. The score system is a tool for evaluating life status rather than for purposes of a competitive grading score. Note: each chapter contains a learn and adopt analyses section that is presented for you to learn from, where your source of help is, and hopefully that you will adopt by checking off the posted box to select it and receive credit by a score. This is simple to do and means no more struggling in your life trying to guess what you're good at, who your best companion is, or what career you're cut out for. The 8 chapters work similar to an X-ray machine, detecting any obstructions, trying to obstruct your success, or not, by allowing you to score up to 100%. Step 1. Determine your status. If you are a Purine, having 1 birth date range, skip to step 2. If you are a mix, having 2 birth date ranges, you are a little of both, use the mix status chart to determine if you are a mix before moving to step 2. This concludes the tutorial.